What's up, guys? Welcome to another Team Solemn Circus live video. Today we're going over a Crystron guide. This is all going to be a in-depth Crystron guide on how to end on boards like this. It's not going to be every board like this. We're obviously going to be showing you guys off some of the most powerful cards. For starters, I'll show you guys off like what the end boards kind of look like. So on end boards, we have the trap card. It's going to be one of your most common interruptions. This is going to be essentially a pop or two pops if you control the Crystron Synchro. You also shuffle back, so it's also important that you do get to put back cards from your banished in your graveyard, so you get more like extender pieces, being able to like put back the resources, stuff like that. And then we have a Testalos. This is going to be another one of your low impact but also high like reward type of interactions. So whenever your opponent activates a card or effect during either player's turn, you get to summon out one of your Crystron cards from the deck and then immediately synchro summon using it. So if you already have a copy of a level 5 on the field, or you have no level 5s on the field, you can actually synchro summon with this if they activate like any card, chain it, synchro summon, bring this out from the deck, synchro summon into one of these, or whatever other level 7s, which you guys can see how you can get up into a Dawn Dragster, which is going to be a spell and trap the gate. So we have the Dawn Dragster, now we brought out that we have this chain bringing out another Dawn Dragster. So we have a Dawn Dragster in the gate, but if you already have this on the field level 5, this can actually activate the effects to bring out a Citri, and then you can go up into the Quandrax there. So the Quandrax is going to be a triple banish of any monsters on the field or in the graveyard for opponent's turn. What's also really important to note is that this is a level 7. So once you negate with this, it can become a level 5, which means you have access to this by bringing out the copy of the Citri from the deck. So really cool to see that way that you can actually use the Dawn Dragster as a negate and then use it as material for a Quandrax to essentially bring out. And then if you haven't used your link 1, the next turn you can actually just link away and then bring out the Dawn Dragster for another form of negate. So we have now mentioned the Dawn Dragster, which is going to spell and trap negate, the Quandrax, as well as the Cluster, and then you have Cyber Dragon Infinity. So what's really cool about this card is it's going to be an Omni negate, and then it also sucks cards once per turn during your turn and monsters. It's really easy to make this because you do have the Sulfenir and the Sulfador, and I'll be explaining to you guys those pieces as well. So for some of your combo pieces, obviously you have the Testalos. We already talked about him, so we don't have to talk about him anymore. We also have the 2 level 5s. So we have the Sulfador as well as the Sulfenir. So these cards are going to be able to activate in the hand or in the graveyard. This one pops any Crystron card you control, and then on summon it dumps 2 cards from your deck that are Crystron cards. And this one here, while it's in the graveyard or in the hand, you can discard 1 Crystron card and then bring it out in defense position and destroy 1 card on the field. If this card is destroyed, you have to summon one from the graveyard or you summon one from the deck. You can summon itself, which is really important, but it is also a really good Ash target. This is obviously a very good imperm target, which it kind of like hurts the deck quite a bit. And then we also have the spell card here, Crystron Inclusion. This just essentially adds you any Crystron card, and then that makes your monsters not be destroyed by battle. And the graveyard, it's a Monster Reborn. Then for this extra deck, we have this one here. This is going to let you add cards from your graveyard or banishment back to the hand on Synchro Summon. It makes all your monsters, opponent monsters lose 500 attack and defense. It also has the ability that when it's destroyed, you'd summon out one of your Crystron cards from your banished or your graveyard, pardon me. Crystron Testalos in the graveyard, whatever, can banish itself to pop a Crystron Synchro, or actually any Synchro you control, and bring out 2 from the deck. So it's really important to note that like any of these cards kind of get you extenders and pluses as well. Citri is a brick, as well as this one here is kind of a brick, lets you add summon out a monster from the hand. You have to play it in certain combos because you want to bring out the Sulfenir from the hand to go up into something else. So for the other 2 cards we're playing the Wyvern as well as the Smiger. This one lets you search for any spells and traps, bringing the inclusion or the trap card, depending on what you want to go for. And the Wyvern lets you banish a search for any monster. You don't really use their monster effects on the field ever. It does come up on like random occasions, but other than that, you're not going to. So now that we've covered all of the Crystron cards, let's move into the combos. So for this part here, I'm going to be showing you guys different engine options you guys can play and explain to why I personally prefer one or other. And I'm just going to explain to you guys different variations of why you want to play these cards and what you can do with them. So the pretty basic one is going to be the Terror Top as well as the Tacky Tomborg. This one's pretty straightforward. You summon this one out when you control no monsters, search for your Tacky Tomborg, then you have the access to the Cherubini line. So obviously Cherubini can dump your white one there, which is going to allow you to kind of get all your combos off. We all know how this goes. You know, get this, which goes into this here, and then you get all your Crystron stuff, as well as being the protection on the Cherubini. Pretty standard. That's going to be the 3 Terror Top and the 1 Tacky Tomborg. Pretty decent, for brick to not brick ratio, I should say. But even better than that is going to be the Fen Rear or the Castier line. So you have 2 different options here. You can either play the 1 copy of, or triple copies of Fen Rear and the 1 Rise Heart, which brings you to the same ratio that we have here. Well, this does use your normal summon, of course, and this does not. But then the other variation, which I like a lot better, is actually the 7, which is going to be the Fen Rear's 3 Fen Rears, 3 race-offs, and then, of course, double unicorn and 1 birth. So this gives you like a little bit more. Any 2 Cashier monsters gives you access to a full board, which is pretty nice. The full board being like the Cherubini access and other stuff. Also with, instead of having like this, which goes up into Cherubini, you have this, which goes into an XYZ, leaving your materials for SP, which is pretty nice. So I think this is a lot better, as well as you have a more chance of opening this up than the Terratop. And like your 7-to-1 ratio that you guys see here with the bricks compared to the 3-to-1, just a lot better. These cards are also board breakers, and then by themselves, you know, if you only have like 1 copy of Fen Rear and like this, your combo is a lot better, or even just like these two. You're gonna do a lot more than if you would have had the Terratop on itself. So that's why I like this ratio. I'm personally playing this one myself for now. I think it's just a lot better. And of course, just the Unicorn as well as Fen Rear, just pretty powerful cards. This format, Birth being also pretty nice. But that's going to be for those two. And then you do have the Tempo lineup. So this is going to be a little bit worse, the Adventure package. It does offer you a negate, which is pretty nice. In the next other of the part of the deck, it's going to be showing you as negates. And then why you're going to play it. This is level 3 as well, so you can kind of go up into the Cherubini and give you other access as well. But at the same time, it's really bad into Ryziel, so it's why I definitely don't opt to play this. If Ryziel gets hit, this definitely could be a thing, but it's just not the greatest right now. And the other option is going to be the Azamina. So I'm showing you guys these here. Like this is the first 3 ones, is because this also offers you a negate that Griffin Rider does as well. You know, a continuous negate that you're going to get turn and turn over again. But you have 2 different discards. So with here, you don't have a way to discard anything. Same with these 2. But this is going to give you the discard options that you do have. Now, you do have to have the Crystrons in the hand to do that, of course. But, you know, Diabell Star essentially gets you a negate. It also, like, fuels your graveyard and has continuous recursion as well and draws power. So you do have that opportunity in the deck that you can play. I think this card is a little bit probably better than this right now, as well as, you know, the Wanteds and like Sinful Spoils stuff do get bait a bunch of your stuff. You know, they ogre this. This gives you access to now Inclusion safely. Or they Asher Wanteds and they have like stuff for Crystron. So like, it is a good bait. And it does lead you up into an Omnigate, which is pretty nice as well. So you have that option there. And then you also have the title. So this is just to be double title. I think this is probably one of the worst engines. I know some players are playing it, same thing the Atlantean package. I don't have any Atlantean cards, so I can't like figure that out. But this definitely package, I don't think this is really good. Please stop playing this. You discard your cards in your hand, which you always have access to. Like if you have like some weird lines where you have to use title, it's like, okay, that's fine. It is a level 7, but like it's not gonna do very much. If you want to play this, I mean, go ahead. It's your deck, obviously, but it's just I don't love this deck this way. So I opt to not play it. And then the last one is going to be the Horus. This is so slightly better than the title package, but honestly, the Horus cards aren't the greatest. So the reason why you play Horus is because this does give you a discard. You know, both of these cards give you discards. Gain those cards in the graveyard, kind of like your Diabell Star. But it has like an insane recursion. Both these decks have, or both these engines here, both have an insane recursion. King Stark being obviously just a powerful card on itself, being able to bring back continuously all these monsters. And then you have the rank 8, the zombie vampire that you go up into, which moves your stuff, but you still have to mill the correct cards. So that's like the point. I don't really love this. I like the Cashier package because it does guarantee you access to these cards rather than leaving it up to chance, and also having the powerhouse of the Fen Rear and the Unicorn. So we're going to be opting to play this, which I'll be showing you guys the combos for the rest of the deck profiles. So that's going to be it for the engine pieces. Now moving on to the combo lines. So for this combo, it's going to be the 1-card inclusion combo. I will mention that it is pretty similar to this combo as well. I'll be showing you guys why it's not like this, and the following combo will be this combo as well, or the Foolish Burial Good combo. But this is going to be just activating the inclusion. You have no other cards in hand. You top deck, whatever you got hand looped. You're playing its Mermail. You have 1 card. It's this card here. So we're going to activate the effect, and then that's going to let us search for the copy of the Solfador. Now, Solfador has the amazing ability in the hand that can activate, destroying any of the Crystron cards that we control, destroying the inclusion, summoning itself out, and then on summon, we're going to dump 2 from the deck. So the important part here is that you want to always have everything in rotation that you possibly can, but the most important card to get in rotation here is going to be the copy of the Solfador. So you're going to always want to dump this if you don't have it in the hand to the graveyard, and then we're also going to dump a copy of the purple one here. So this could be a copy of Smiger if you wanted to, which is going to be the white one there. But this is going to give us an additional access. We also be able to add it back to the hand with the Escaletus, which I'm going to explain to you guys why. So the follow-up for the next turn is going to be kind of there. So we're going to be sending these to the graveyard, and then we can activate the effect, banishing this, allowing us to search for a copy of Smiger. So we now have that in the hand. and then we can activate the effect of the Solemn, summoning itself by discarding the Smiger, and that's going to then be destroying itself. And then we get to summon from the deck with the Solemn, summoning a copy of the Testalos. So now we have the Smiger in the graveyard. We can banish it, search for our trap card, because we already have used the spell card. We have no need for that. We're going to be searching for the trap. So now we have it in the hand. You don't need to banish it immediately. Just nice to have it in rotation. And then we have 2 in the graveyard, or 2 banished already. So now we have Clutter in the hand, and we also have these 2 on the field. We're going to be synchro summoning up into our copy of Escaletus. So we have Escaletus effects going to activate, allowing us to add back any one of our graveyard or banished cards, and we're going to opt to add back one of these. So depending on what option you want to have here, I always want to add this one back because we play 3 copies of Smiger, as well as being able to send this to the graveyard because we have access to Solemn at all times. We're going to have 2 Solemn in the graveyard by the end of this turn, or I should say by the end of our opponent's turn. Having this in the hand is just going to be able to discard off the Solemn and get the monster we want to summon off the Solemn, as well as a search for any monster off this one. So I like to add that one back to the hand. So we add that off of this. We now activate the effect of these Testalos of banishing itself to destroy the copy of Escaletus and summoning 2 from the deck. Now what's really important to note is that a lot of players want to summon out 2 level 5s from the deck, and then the Escaletus is going to summon back the Testalos. Now, I actually believe that's incorrect. The reason why I believe it's incorrect is because it does lose nib a little bit harder than this does. This is going to always make it so that if you do get Nibiru at any time past this, you are going to be able to go full combo regardless. So instead of summoning those 2 level 5s, I opt to summon out the Testalos itself and then another level 5. Does not matter which one here. We're going to summon out the Solemn so we have 2 of them in the graveyard in case we get hit with a DD Crow. Not that card's really prominent in this format, just in case, you know, that way it does get prominent later on in a different format. So we have these 2 here. Now Escaletus is going to activate the effect. Now the reason why we summon out the Testalos there is it does play better into Nib, but I also want to mention that we are now on our 2nd copy of the Testalos, which is kind of important. Now I do play 3 in my personal build because I do think it's going to be a better card for this. One of the exact reasons you have better plays into Nibiru, as well as, you know, I want to have more tuners in my deck than just simple copies of 3. But you don't have to play 2, and if you have it in the hand, it does a different combo, or you just normal summon it and do this exact same combo anyways. So that's something else I want to mention to you guys. If you have it in the hand and you only want to play 2, just normal summon it out, do the exact same thing, or, you know, Bob's your uncle. So here we have these 2 in the hand. We summon these out. If they want to chain link 1's going to be Escaletus, summon back to the level 5 from the graveyard. Doesn't target, of course, so we're just not going to tell them that. But they chain Nibiru. Here we chain this, summoning out the level 5, and going up now into our copy of wherever it went, of the Samurai Destroyer. When Samurai Destroyer goes to the graveyard, we're going to be able to summon out another body. So you're always going to have the level 5 that you summon off this, or the level 2, you know, if you don't want to summon this one here. But in this case, we're going to be able to summon out the Samurai Destroyer, which can summon another body. That's kind of the reason why we do that there, and which why I want to play another reason why we want to play Samurai Destroyer. But it just makes the Nibiru a little bit harder for our opponent. So here we're going to assume we just don't get Nibiru'd. Escaletus to summon out the level 5 from the graveyard. We now can overlay these 2 up into our Nova and then into our Cyber Infinity. So now we have Cyber Infinity on the field. We have a Crystron Testalos. We have a Clutter. And then we also have this in the hand for next turn. So what's kind of important to this is that we have different variations that we can go for during our opponent's turn. Whenever our opponent activates a card effect, we can activate the effect, bring back out a Synchro Summon into our Escaletus if you want to for more pops of Clutter, or you can go up into a Dawn Dragster. Now I will mention to you guys that if you did not get Nibiru and you already had another copy of Testalos, you can actually banish the Inclusion in the graveyard, which we can banish if you want to, summon out this here. So we can do like that if you want to. In the pass combo, you can banish this, summon out this, and then you have the Clutter to destroy this, and then summon out 2 other copies, and then you have this to go up into your copy of Dawn Dragster. So that is obviously an option as well if you want to use the inclusion, but you don't have to include that into your combo to go up into the copy of Escaletus. Other than that, you know, it's a pretty good combo. You're getting anything on an Omni Negate as well as this, and then of course your Clutter. But you have different variations you can obviously do depending on what you have in the hand. But what's important to know is your fall is going to be massive. So you have the Solemn in the graveyard because you're going to always want to attach the Solemn first off of the Cyber Dragon Infinity, just in case, you know, for that DD Crow. And then you have the effect to just send the Tyvern to the graveyard, summoning it out, and then popping itself, summon out the copy of the Sulfador from the deck, and then you have the Tyvern to banish itself, search for another 2, dump 2 more. Whatever you want, it's going to be in your in your access there. So that's going to be like the 1-card combo that we saw up in Collision, and now it's going to be the Foolish Burial or the Smiger combo. It's going to be the 1-card Smiger or the Foolish Burial, whatever way you can get Smiger to the graveyard. If you're playing the Horus engine, it's the Horus engine plus Smiger, whatever you want to call it. It's going to be the getting Smiger in the graveyard without or using its normal summon, which if you have another normal summon, then obviously it's going to be a little bit worse, but Foolish Burial is good, kind of there. So we're just going to say you normal summon with the Smiger because it's going to be the worst version of this, and then we're going to link away for the Clockwork Knight. Now you can play Almirage. We're not playing Almirage in this deck. The reason why I'm not playing Almirage is because I don't believe it's that good. It's only ever good if you open up Fen Rear, if you're playing the Fen Rear package alongside a copy of like a hand trap. So we're just opting out to play it all together, which lets us play the Macabre in the deck, which is going to be a little better when you're playing against Malice or whatever other engine is using, like the new Ritual stuff, which uses the Dogmatica and Maximus. So we end up sending the Smiger to the graveyard. We're going to banish the Smiger. And like I mentioned in the first combo, this is going to be now affecting on what we do, because we can only search for the trap card. We have to search for the copy of Inclusion. So we're going to activate Inclusion, searching for the Sulfador per normal, and we always have access to these 2 cards. So we're going to activate the Sulfador, destroying the Inclusion, summoning itself out, and this is going to activate the effect, and this is where the change is going to be happening. So because we no longer have the effect of Smiger to end up searching for the trap card, we have to dump the trap card here. So we're going to dump the trap card because we want to have access to it in the graveyard. We want to add it back with the Synchro Escalatus, and we have to send another card. So we don't have another monster in the hand to send to Sulfonier, which like I mentioned earlier, you always want to have access to this. So we actually have to send a copy of this Talos in the graveyard instead. So this is going to be a little bit different, of course, because now we are actually putting a card in the graveyard that's going to be able to activate. We don't have a Synchro on the field. So we have to actually burn our Inclusion in the graveyard, banishing itself to summon up the copy of the Talos there. This is now where we're going to Synchro summon into our copy of Escalatus, and then Escalatus is going to activate the effect, allowing us to add back the trap card. So we're going to add back the trap card here, and this is going to make us lose to Nibiru a lot more, but it's still going to be fine. So we're going to add back the trap card here, we're putting the Nibiru's on a card in this case, and we have the effect of the Tristalis to destroy the Escalatus, summoning itself out. Now we're going to activate the effect of that's not true. We banish this to summon up 2 from the deck. My bad. We're summoning the copy of the Sulfonier alongside a copy of the Sulfador. Now, again, you can summon up the stats if you want to. It's not really that much of a difference because you have the other ones in the deck, and they would have Nibiru'd you on the summon of the Escalatus, but it is what it is. Escalatus can activate the effect now, bringing out the Tiscalos, and then they have all 3 in the field. You can actually XYZ up into a copy of Nova, and then go up into the Infinity. Now, a lot of people don't realize is Infinity is the effect that you can actually attach. So we don't want to leave a Clockwork Knight on the field because we have no access to SP. We are locked to machines. So we're going to be attaching the Infinity, or attaching the Clockwork Knight to the Infinity. So now we have a format Infinity for more negates for multiple different turns if it does last that long. But we just don't leave a 500 attack monster on our field, which is going to be extremely weak. So now, during our opponent's turn, we have, of course, the Infinity on the field. We have the Styles, which can bring out anyone from the deck. We have the Clutter, which can help us. So they activate the card effect. We don't want to negate it, whatever. We activate the effect of this. Summon out a copy of Sulfonier from the deck. Synchro summon now into the Escalatus. Escalatus lets you add back a whatever. We're adding back the Smiger to our hand. And then you want to pop the Clutter. So you Clutter, pop 2 cards by shuffling back the other copy of Escalatus in the graveyard. And then you pop 2 cards in the field. Let's say you want to pop this. You pop this. And then this brings out the Sulfador. And then Sulfador dumps 2 more cards. You want to dump the copy of Thyvern. And then you want to dump your spell card, just so you have different access to it at all times. And then now all of a sudden you're really set up for the next turn. So you have multiple ways to get like protection. You have an Infinity for a negate. You have a pop 2 if your Synchro gets popped. You get to summon back this, which dumps more follow up. You have Smiger. Like you're gonna be pretty set there. So you have this. You have your Inclusion. You have your Thyvern. And you have the Sulfonier in the graveyard, which can destroy or send the copy of Smiger to summon itself out, getting another one from the deck, and you have essentially just full combo. So you really have different ways you want to be able to do stuff. This deck is really good. This is all off 1 card itself. It's going to be the 1-card Inclusion combo. This is going to be a lot more riskier into Nibiru, but it's like your big OTK combo. So you have your Inclusion, search for this. Activate to destroy, of course. We're going to be seeing this now dump 2. You want to summon in defense position, which I always mention. You're going to dump these 2. We want to have access to the trap, but you actually are going to be able to search for 2 monsters here. So we're going to be 2 cards. So we're going to be banishing each of these. Does not matter which one you do. We're going to search for a cluster as well as the Tristalos. So now we're going to be using our normal summon, unfortunately. In the other combos, you don't use it. So we're going to be using our normal summon now, which is going to be wasted on the Tristalos. So we're going to Synchro Summon wait immediately into the Escaletus. So we see how we have all the cards in rotation like we had the previous combo. This is now going to activate the effect, allowing us to add back the purple to the hand. Now the reason why we do this is the same reason why we did it the last time. We always want to send this to the graveyard for follow-up there in the next turn, which we can activate later. So we're going to be seeing the effect, going to be summoning this by banishing, destroying, and then we're going to summon two from the deck. We're going to summon up the Sulfonier as well as these Serradior. And this is going to activate the effect, bring back the Tiscalos. Now this is the point where like they could have Nibiru you, they like, chain link one, and yet like you do get hit a lot with Nibiru because you're just going to like have this on the field do nothing, which is still going to be fine. But it's kind of unfortunate. So here you're going to be Synchro Summoning these two away. You have to make sure you put this one in the graveyard to go for a Dawn Dragster, which is going to be a Spell and Trap Negate, as well as going to be a level 5 after a Spell and Trap Negate. So now you have these in the graveyard. You can actually activate the effect of the Sulfonier, sending the copy of the Tyburn to the graveyard, summon itself out, destroy itself. It's going to summon out another copy of itself from the deck. You overlay up into your Nova, you overlay up into Infinity. And so now you have a Omni Negate, a Spell and Trap Negate, a Trap card, and then you have also the ability to go Inclusion, banish itself to bring back the Tiscalos. So now you have, for follow-up, you have, during your opponent's turn, you have Cluster. You also have Tristalos from the activated card or effect. After you draw Dragster, you can summon out a Citri from the deck, and then you can go up into the copy of the big one here, which banishes 3 cards. So you have banishing 3 cards after you have a Spell and Trap Negate. You have an Omni Negate as well as a Pop 2. Banish 3 monsters from the field or graveyard. So very powerful. And of course, if this is destroyed, you can target one banish monster here, accept it itself, a Synchro Summon it, or summon it out. So you can go for another copy of Smiger. But the follow-up is going to be huge here. So the follow-up that you have in the graveyard alone is you have Sulfonier as well as the Sulfador, which is going to be like if you draw into a Crystron, you'll have more combos than that. You have a Monster Searcher by banishing, and then which can then like, search for like Smiger, and then you can use the effect, send the Smiger, get this on the field, destroy it, summon out like the Tristalos from the deck, or whatever else you want, and then the Smear can actually banish itself, search for the Inclusion, play Inclusion, search for another monster. This in the graveyard can destroy the Inclusion. So you have like Infinity combo there, which is pretty nice. And you also have this in the graveyard, which can pop a Synchro Summon monster that you end up making. You know, we can make the Escalus pretty easily. But like it's all these cards just have, they like kind of rotate all into each other, which is very nice. Like it's a very nice combo. But like this is like the big combo that you'll normally end up seeing wild players try to end on. So it does stop everything like turn 0, but it does lose the Nibiru a lot more. But hopefully Nibiru is going to be more of a side deck card. So this is going to be a 2-card big combo. This is essentially going to be your biggest combo that you kind of have with these 2 cards. It can be other ones. You're going to have to play double Dawn Dragster for this. You don't have to go for this exact double one if you want, but it's going to give you the most interruptions. So we have the ability to start off with Sulfonier, sending the copy of the Smiger, summoning itself out, destroying, summoning up the Sulfonier, or Sulfador. We're going to then activate the effect, sending these 2, which is why it's important to play the Paraturtle in this combo. We're going to be showing you guys when you always want to have back this so you can summon it on the field. And this can actually trigger during your opponent's turn, summon it from the graveyard, which is kind of important, or from the deck. But we're going to be seeing these 2 being made there, and then we're going to activate the effect of this and the effect of this, searching for 2 monster, or 1 monster, 1 spell. We're going to go for the Tristalos as well as the Inclusion, because we don't have access to any of these. This is all off 2 cards. And then we can have normal summon out this, synchro away into the Escaletus. And Escaletus is going to have to add back the Sulfonier if we do not have another copy of it in the hand. Kind of important to note that that's what has to be done. If you already have another copy, you can add back any one of the other ones. Normally I go for this, but just in case you don't have it, so you're ready to do that. We're going to activate the Inclusion, search for the Trap cards. Now we have access to all of our engine pieces. And then we're going to be activating the effect of the Tristalos, destroying the Escaletus, summoning out 2 from the deck, summoning out the Sulfador as well as the Sulfonier. Then we're going to see the Escaletus summon back out the Tristalos there from the Banish Zone. We can now go up into a Cyber Dragon Nova and then the Infinity. We all know how this goes. We've done this many times on the channel already in this video. But now we have different ways we can do. So we can go the Paraturtle Banish to summon out the Sulfonier. But we also have the ability to use the Sulfador to destroy the Inclusion, summoning it out, and then we can go up into a Dawn Dragster. So now we have Dawn Dragster on the field, a Cyber Dragon Infinity, the Clutter, as well as Inclusion in the graveyard, which can banish summon back out that Tristalos once again. And then we have like these cards. So this is kind of important to note that like during our opponent's turn, what we can do is we can negate first with Dawn Dragster, you know, making a level 5. And then we can use the Tristalos to end up going up into the Citri. And then we can actually use these 3 to go up into the Quandrax. Quandrax banishing 3 monsters on their field or in their graveyard. And then we can actually use the cluster effect to pop 1 card on their field. We have to shuffle this back though, which is important. So we're going to shuffle back, let's say, whatever the card we want to. It does not matter which one we do. And then destroy the Sulfonier. So we only destroy 1 card off of this, but we already banished 3 monsters, so it's not going to matter. So we're going to have to destroy the Sulfonier alongside one of their cards and shuffle back the Citri. And then Sulfonier is going to activate the effect summoning out the Citri from the deck. And then whenever you want to, you can activate the effect of summoning back out one of the other ones. It does not matter which one you do. You can go for like this, and then you get to go up into your second copy of the Dawn Dragster. So that's kind of cool that you can do that. So you have 2 double Dawn Dragsters. You have a cluster only with 1 pop though. You have a triple banish, and you have a Cyber Dragon Infinity, as well as Insane Follow-Up, because you have the Sulfonier in the graveyard as well as the Sulfador, and you like have it's just essentially full combo. You can go for any other level 7 if you want to, or in this case, you cannot go for a level 3 because we don't have it in the graveyard. But just like that's kind of important. I don't think that Citri can summon back out. It can go up into the Escaletus, which can go up into a 9. So you can go up into the Vermintech if you want to. It's just not the greatest, of course. It doesn't really do very much. You can go for a Samurai Destroyer as well if you want to kind of like protect yourself. But the Dawn Dragster gives you another form of interruption. Now, you don't have to play this card necessarily. I've been floating around between the Dawn Dragster as well as the Macabre, depending on how the format kind of goes and depending on my locals, seeing if there's going to be more copies of like the Deer Servant and Maximus being played. I'll be keeping playing the copy of Macabre, but if not, this card can definitely go back into the deck, which is pretty cool. But yeah, that's going to be like the combo there for the big 2-card combo with Clutter and stuff like that. But it is important that you know how to utilize your negates correctly, and not like shotgun stuff randomly like the Clutter, which is pretty nice. But moving on to another combo there. So this is going to be the Cherubini combo, which you guys either get access to with a Terror Top or a Fen Rear. If you're playing the Fen Rear small package, you just need a copy of Rise Heart. But if you're playing a bigger Fen Rear package and you're not playing Rise Heart in the deck, you are going to need to have any one of these cards as an extender. So any 2 of the Castier cards, which is pretty important to note. So we're going to pretend that we are playing the Rise Heart just so that we have the easy access to, or you can just go for the Terror Top. Doesn't really matter here. So we're going to special note the Terror Top. This is going to be like one of their standard combos that you guys definitely should learn if you are playing the deck. I like to start off with the Speed Word stuff because it just helps you have like low ceiling, but like gets consistency. Then you summon up the copy of, or search for Takitomborg. Takitomborg summons themselves out. And then you just go up into Cherubini. Cherubini is going to have access to dumping the Smiger, and you see how the combo starts from there. So that's going to be like that access to it. Now, if we're going to go up into the other cards here, the Fen Rear package, it's going to be a little bit different because you have to use your normal summon. So we're going to special summon out the Fen Rear, and depending on which variant you are playing, you are going to use your normal summon in a different way. So like finish and activate the effect. If you're playing the Rise Heart, you have to normal summon the Rise Heart. Do not ever activate the effect of Rise Heart. Do not ever. Never, ever, ever. You never need to do that effect to special summon on the field. 0, ever. You will be locked in XYZs. I cannot stress this enough. Never activate this card's effect. You can activate it on the field, which you have to do, but never do it. Other than like never special summon this card from the hand. Ever. So yeah, so like here you just normal summon it out. You do waste your normal summon. It's going to activate the effect of banishing whatever. If you have only the Fen Rears in your deck, you banish the Fen Rear. But you can just then go up into a copy of Dracosac. Dracosac activates the effect. This variant is a little bit better because it does give you access to an SP line early. So you have like ways of playing through Nibiru and stuff like that. I prefer not to play Rise Heart at all. So we're going to say you have 2 cards in the hand. So like this is going to be kind of the access to what we have. We're going to play the Fen Rear and the Rice Off. We're going to activate the Rice Off. We're going to search for a Unicorn. Then you summon with the Unicorn. You get the search effect for a Birth. You then play Birth, and you normal summon your Fen Rear. So this is going to be kind of important because you have a card on the field to destroy with the Sulfador, or I should say the Sulfonier. But now you're going to go up into the Dracosac. Dragonsac's going to activate the effect. I believe it does have to detach for it. Yeah. So we're going to detach, always leaving the Fen Rear out of the field. And then you're going to be summoning from 2 tokens. So we do summon 2 tokens there. We link these tokens away into Cherubini. Cherubini then dumps the copy of Smiger. And then you can kind of go off. So you can either link away into an SP if you want to, or you can have the Cherubini protection. Now, a lot of the times, Cherubini protection is not going to be that relevant because I do want to ghost over this card. So it's not going to do that much for you. So in this case, I would probably just go up into an SP right away. So you play through Nibiru a little bit better. So we have SP. SP does not need to banish anything. You can just banish the Smiger now to search for the inclusion, activate the inclusion, and then let's go search for the Sulfador. And then you're going to activate the Sulfador effect, destroying the inclusion, summoning itself out. And like here, if they do try to like imperm this, you have the SP to dodge. It's going to be a very good imperm target as well. But normally they would have impermed anything earlier. You know, if you're starting off with the combo and they know you're playing Crystron, they're going to want to stop like the unicorn so you don't have access to anything. You have to essentially just have another Crystron card in the hand, and you will make SP. So that's pretty kind of smooth. Like you have the dodging abilities for the hand traps, but you have Sulfador effect in the dump. Now you have normal summon already, so you have to dump something else. If you did not normal summon, let's say you were going for the other line with the Terror Top, you would just dump these two. But because we already have normal summoned, you cannot use this effect. So we're going to be using and dumping these two instead here. So we're going to have to be burning an inclusion in this combo. So we're going to dumping these two now. Inclusion is going to be able to activate the effect, banishing itself to bring out the Tristalos. And we're going to be synchro summoning into our copy of the Esqueletos. Esqueletos will activate the effect, allowing us to add back one from the graveyard. It doesn't necessarily matter what you add back here. We can add back the Clutter because we want to have it in our hand. And then we can activate the Tristalos effect. So Tristalos is going to be destroying the copy of Esqueletos, summoning from the deck, and we're going to summon out a Sulfador as well as the Sulfanier. We're going to see the Esqueletos effect summon back out the Tristalos, and then we can XYZ up into our Nova, and then we can go into an Infinity. Now this line doesn't necessarily give us access to like any of the better lines. It was kind of unfortunate because we do have to waste our normal summon. So we have like still this, which can bring back out and then synchro summon with like Dawn Dragster or whatever else, or different lines. We have also the Birth, which can bring out. But there's like some really weird stuff we can do if we want to go like for a bigger combo. You already like hand trap your opponent or whatever. You talents them. You got to see their hand or whatever. They have no other cards. You end up dark ruling them, whatever else you want to call it. Like when we are summoning out from the Esqueletos, we can summon out the copy of Sulfanier alongside any other monster. So we can go like for this, and then we can actually synchro these two away if you want to, if you have another card in the hand, to go for the Dawn Dragster. And then you can activate the effect, discarding any of the other, like any other of the whatever it's called, the Crystron cards, summon this out, and then you destroy the Rice off, because it's just a free card you can destroy, and then you just overlay up into a Nova, a Cyber Dragon Infinity. Now, you don't have access to your Tristalos anymore, but this is still a pretty good combo. Like, you know, you can summon out the copy of the Fen Rear, and then all of a sudden, you have, like, a pretty formidable board of, like, just good end board stuff. You have an Omni Negate, an SP, a Fen Rear, a Dawn Dragster, and, like, for follow-up, you have, of course, the Sulfador and stuff like that, but this combo does not have the Tristalos on the field, unfortunately, but you still have a pretty good stuff. As well as, you know, you can also go into the Quandrax after using Dawn Dragster effect if you have, like, another extender. And you have the Clutter as well, which, unfortunately, you can't really do two because you only control one, but you do get to put back a card in your deck, so it's pretty cool. But you can put back the Escalos can be nice, but this is going to be all, like, with no engine plus one other card, which is important to note. So that's going to be that. Now we go on to another combo. We get a combo with a Fen Rear as well as a Citri. You have to play the Vermilion, which I did cut for the Navy Mech Dragon that I was playing earlier. So shout out to Alex for showing me this combo. This combo is actually super sick. So it's like a big combo that ends up actually like getting you stuff with like one of the worst Crystron cards in your deck. You only play one of this, of course. So we're going to split them with the Fen Rear, after the effect, switching for a Unicorn. So now you have the Citrine Unicorn. Then you have the normal summon, which is kind of unfortunate that you do have to waste your normal summon. But you have to go up into now a copy of the Navy Mech. So now we're going to activate the Navy Mech, banishing the Citrine, destroying itself. And then you're going to activate the effect, adding back the Citrine to the hand. Now we have no monsters on the field. We can summon out the copy of Unicorn, activate the effect, search for a Birth. Birth can then reborn back out the Fen Rear. We can go now up into our XYZ. And we can activate the effect, attaching to summon out the two tokens. The two tokens get summoned for a Cherubini. Cherubini is going to send the copy of the Smiger. And this is kind of essentially the exact same combo as before. So now we're going to be going up into an SP. Wherever it's at, SP, and then we can banish our copy of the Smiger, which can then let us search for our Inclusion. Inclusion can activate the effect, allowing us to search for a Sulfador. Sulfador can activate the effect, destroying the Inclusion to summon itself out. Activating this effect, now dumping from the graveyard, dumping to the graveyard here, we're going to dump the copy of the Tristalos as well as a copy of Clutter. We can then go for different routes if we want to. We can actually banish the inclusion, summon out the Crystallos, which we are going to be doing. And then we're going to be syncering these two away for our copy of Esqueletos. Esqueletos is going to activate the effect, allowing us to add back the trap. And then we're going to activate the effect of Crystallos, banishing itself to destroy the Esqueletos. Here you want to summon out another Crystallos as well as a Sulfonier. And then you want to use the Esqueletos effect to summon back out the other Crystallos. And then we're going to be syncering these two off into a lovely Dawn Dragster. And then we can activate the effect of the Sulfonier if we want to, discarding the Citri, summoning itself out and destroying another card, destroying itself. If we did start off with a field spell, we can destroy that if we wanted to, or the Sulfonier can just destroy itself and summon out whatever you want from the deck, most likely another copy of the Sulfador. And then you have like different options you can do. You can just leave this on the field if you want to, and then later you can put back to summon out the Citri, or you can just go up into another whatever. In the other case, you could have not summoned out the other Crystallos. You could summon out one of the other ones from the graveyard and then let you go up into a Cyber Dragon Infinity. But you don't have the spell here, which is kind of unfortunate. Like, you have different lines you can go for. Like, this is a pretty decent board if you want it to be. You know, you can set this. You'd also summon out another Sulfonier from the deck if you want to. Instead of just like when you destroy itself, you can summon out the Sulfador. And then this is like pretty much your end board. So it's pretty nice because you have the clutter. Once again, now you don't have Cyber Dragon Infinity here, but you have the ability to go like FJ, Drawn Dragster, negate, and then Crystallos end up summoning back out and shuffling. So like normally I want to go for clutter first, to shuffle back the Citri, destroying the Sulfonier, and then you know you can later on summon out the Citri. With like Citri can be summoned off the Sulfonier right now, which give you access to the second Dawn Dragster. But like it definitely kind of like depends what you want to. You know, you have the ability to also just go like the clutter, destroy another card, and the Sulf or whatever. And this bring out this off of the Crystallos and then go up into a Quandrax. But that's the kind of important part of like having the Citri. You do lose access to it. Because of the fact that it's in the graveyard. So you have to like kind of shuffle it back with Cluster first and then just start to summon it from the deck. But you don't always want to use the Cluster immediately because you want to keep a popping of cards or pop 2 cards. Like, you know, if you control a Crystron Synchro Monster, which you're not able to do by shuffling back the Citri. So you have to kind of pop 1 card on the field. You're never going to be able to pop 2. But you have like Dawn Dragster, Quandrax, SP, and stuff like that, which is going to be pretty nice. You just don't have another access to it at level 5, unfortunately, which is going to be kind of your weak point there. That's going to be it for the combos. Hope you guys are watching the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I want to be showing you guys like different stuff that you can do with the deck, obviously. I don't like the title stuff, so I'm not going to be playing that, of course. But if you guys have any questions, let me know in the comment section down below. I can definitely answer them. I'm going to be doing duels with this in the upcoming week. I'm taking this to locals the same day I'm recording this. So definitely stay tuned for that if you guys want to see this deck in action. Obviously, the combos are great, but when you're trying to play around hand traps, you're going to see different stuff like that as well. And all of the combos are pretty notorious, like repetitionists. So like Smiger always searches for stuff. We have inclusion with also searches for stuff. You can play through Lancia in some really weird combos. They don't end on very much. Normally like an SP or something like that, or like just the trap or whatever, or just having, you know, this one. Like this lets you play through a lot of cards by like this you want to play during your opponent's turn, which is important, but it is very weak to like Imperm and stuff like that. The same thing with Sulfador. Sulfador getting hit with Imperm or Ghost Ogre on the inclusion is very hard for the deck to kind of play through. You know, but there still are lines you can do depending on like your 5-card hand. But I'm not going to be sitting there showing you guys a 5-card hand. But if you want to definitely see this stuff, seeing them test hands, let me know in the comment section down below. I can definitely do some videos like that. Stay safe, peace, and have a great day.